What's going on?
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll still be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Bienvenidos. Aloha. Ciao. Welcome, everybody, to Dead Air Live on the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel on our Sunday night show. And we are so glad you guys are joining us tonight. Very special guest, Jeannie Dollar, going to be joining us here in a little bit. Once we figure out the logistics, her response back to me is, I keep going back from YouTube to StreamYard. So I don't know what that means. I'm going to send her the link on Facebook and then take it from there. Ken, how are you?
Doing well. Doing well. It's been a great week here. I am looking forward to tonight. Looking forward to reconnecting with all our viewers. How y'all doing out there tonight? This should be interesting.
To say the least. To say the least. If you all remember, she had joined us a few months back when we brought up the topic of Tina Boyer and the unfortunate situation in regards to what she had to endure being accused and then eventually sentenced to prison for the death of her child. And she was one of the psychologists, parapsychologists that worked with her, that was friends with her. And you know, we brought her back because we had a good discussion post-show last time and said, you know, we want to talk about psychology of this field, the ins and outs, the danger areas. There's a lot that we have to contend with as investigators. There's a lot that you have to contend with as clients or just experiencers. And this is something that you probably want to definitely pay attention to. In the second hour, we're just going to quiz the hell out of her in the first hour. In the second hour, we've got something very unique coming up, and I'm going to save what it is that we're going to be doing, but we'll have some extra voices in the building in the second hour, and Jeannie Dollar is going to do a couple of sessions with those individuals. So I'm looking forward to that also. We are simulcast on kgradb.com/dead-air, KGRA on Facebook, also twitter.com at Global Radio Live. You can also find us on YouTube right here. If you're listening on KGRA, you can find us at Dead Air Nation. Make sure you guys check it out on Facebook, /Dead Air Full Spectrum. And again, Twitter, but it's our Twitter, Dead_Spectrum. So you guys can just keep tabs with us there. Subscribe to all of them, please. Join us also on our Patreon account, as Ken has put up there, $3 membership. And we've been having a blast with our town halls on Monday. Surprise guests coming in, incredible topics. What is a town hall exactly, Ken, for anybody who's still curious about being there with us?
Well, if you sign up Monday nights at 8 p.m., we bring in our Patreon members, those that we can fit in, because it is really turned into quite a party. But we also simulcast it unlisted and private on YouTube for our Patreon members who maybe can't join us on screen, who want to listen in or maybe catch up on it a bit later at their leisure. But it's a lot of fun, and we get to talk to you folks. And you bring something to the table too, whether that be stories or questions or comments on anything and everything that you want to. And it's pretty unvarnished. And peek behind the curtain, so to speak, talk about some of the things that we wouldn't dare talk about on the
new show name. I called it Pretty Unvarnished. That'll be us. That's
us
in a nutshell. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys. Also, the thumbs up for the content. Again, I always look at the very top of the screen, and it shows me how many people have hit that like button. So I want to see that number grow as always. I'm going to request it. No, demand it. Make sure you guys do that. And also the reminder bell, very important. Ken even has a sound effect for that, unless he threw it away or his grandson took it. There it is. And this way you guys will be getting notifications. Now, here's what I noticed, Ken. I'm hooked into the notifications on my phone for Dead Air. And the song was about 35 seconds in for the intro before I got the ding on my phone. So we missed a portion of our intro. So, at the beginning where you say what's going on, we're going to have to extend that 35 seconds. I don't know what you're going to have to say to fill that spot in there.
I could probably say it in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and just about anything that you'd like to. I could probably also say it in Australian because they have a different language than us, right? No, wait.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah. We've had Brendan on our town hall. Yes, they do. But you can also, we're coming up on football season. You could just run down the scores for the first 35 seconds. That's
important. We could have a ticker going on that.
There we go.
Out there, we don't encourage betting or gambling on this show. Please do so responsibly. And any scores that you might see or bets put down are not the property or under any sort of conditions of Dead Air or KGRA. Yeah. Disclaimer done.
Yeah, we don't mind with football season coming into play here if we're on your laptop or on your desktop and you've got the TV on mute watching your favorite team. That's perfectly okay. We give you that slide right there to go ahead and take care of your sports enthusiastic endeavors.
I'm missing the Patriots preseason tonight to be here, so suck it up.
Lately that's a blessing.
Catch the replay later, but still.
Hey, you guys want to see what's popular out there right now? Oh, by the way, just to give you guys a little bit of insight, what we've got coming up as we're getting closer and closer to the spooky season. And I'll probably mention it again after the break. Demonologist Bill Bean is going to be coming up here very, very shortly. We're scheduled for the 1st, might be the 8th because it's Labor Day weekend. We don't know yet. And are you guys ready? Are you ready? 22nd. Mark it on your calendar. Don't make any plans. 22nd of September. He's back. Robert the Doll.
Robert the Doll is back?
Yeah. I asked permission.
Oh, in all his glory. Everybody mind your P's and Q's that night. You don't want to end up like Ozzy Osbourne. That's another story. We might get into that with his keeper. Is that the right word to use? Yeah, his keeper. Ozzy Osbourne had a bad experience with Robert the Doll.
Yes, as a matter of fact, he did, as had
According
many other
to his-
people, apparently.
According to his son, Jack, he did.
Speaking of dolls, are you guys ready for the newest thing that's out there? Here we go. Found this on social media. Are we ready?
Oh, what are these? Looks to be mini Annabelle exorcism playsets. Wow. Oh, now you can be a junior demonologist.
Did you read? Did you read what came with that? All
Oh, what are these? Looks to be mini Annabelle exorcism playsets. Wow. Oh, now you can be a junior demonologist.
Man, I wonder how
real Bible and holy water and fun size rosary beads.
I wonder how demonologists feel about that. That you now have action figures, folks. We don't have action figures. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed.
I'm corresponding back and forth, and Jeannie says, "Yes, I'm in studio." Jeannie, darling, you're not in studio. You're actually in the viewers lane because you're not here in studio with us. The one that I sent you on Facebook Messenger is the one you want to click on. The one that Kent sent you first is to view the show from the chat. No bueno. So make sure you check it out. The religious groups, they're probably saying this promotes Satanism. I'm sure, Bill. That's Bill Forte, our producer, just wrote that. But I can tell you this, guys. And if you go, those of you who follow Bishop Long on TikTok, he did a response to this. So he is just shaking his head in absolute disappointment for these people that are doing this. You know what it looks to me as, Ken? A more common or modern day with everything going on in the entertainment field or surrounding this. It's a modern day Ouija board, isn't it?
I mean, I think it's just a desensitization to all of this stuff that I've talked about. And it started over a decade ago that you market these Annabelle things now. And I'm not saying anything about the veracity or the legitimacy of Annabelle or any of that stuff, but it's just something that, we can just poke some fun at and at the same time make some bank on, right? Now, you too can be an amateur demonologist. So who is this geared to? Anyway, is this a kids thing?
Well, yeah, when it says, mini this and fun size that, yeah, I think, again, it's no different than the Ouija boards in the way that they set this up.
Okay, I have a question. Is somebody else getting a cut of this? Is the Warren estate getting a cut of this? I would imagine so. Maybe.
I don't think that's that deep. I have no idea. Ask Nicole. Nicole might know. She has a couple of Annabelle mugs.
All right, Nicole, what do you think? Are they getting a cut out of this or what? Do you have any inside knowledge? I mean, you bought the mugs, so. I mean, somebody is there a copyright on that? I don't know. I'm pondering. Just giving an opinion, as they like to say, right? Allegedly, so I heard.
Yeah. No, we don't like to talk about it, but while we're waiting for Jeannie to figure out which link to join us in.
Click the right button.
And I know we really don't want to talk too much about this, but again, some of the Facebook messages that are coming out of a certain haunted location.
Do tell.
Just digging deeper and deeper and saying some of the most absurd things. And, it's perpetuating so much out there. What it really is it's giving a lot of fodder. It's giving a lot of ammunition for so many of these posts out there, these people that have the channels, and all they do is they put up on their screen, let's read this now. So it shows that, you can at least understand what somebody's saying and then shake your head all the way through it. Everybody else can do it right there off that social media post. But some of these other people, and they'll get 5,000 views for bringing this up and showing the exact same things. Ken, you might want to dial. It says open in Safari.
Open in Safari. So she doesn't have Chrome on her phone. What has she got? Some kind of iPhone? She was with us.
I don't know.
Welcome
to the professional show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. This is the way that we're going to roll tonight. We'll get her here. We'll land this plane sooner or later. She might have to, get Google Chrome or something. I mean, she was on with us before. Open in Safari. No, just click on that. Well, I don't know. She has Safari as a browser. Open it in Safari. What's the worst that can happen? We all blow up here tonight. While we're on the subject, and George is trying to get a hold of Jeannie, the quick thought on that is obviously we're watching a mental crisis play out in public, and that's never pleasant. As much as people comment and have a little bit of fun with it, this is playing out in front of the world. So ultimately, I'll ask you to take my word for it. Ultimately, this is going to come crashing down at the hands of agencies. It's not going to be about proving ghosts exist in court. It's not going to be about any of those things. Eventually, this is going to be departments of labor, departments of taxation, departments of revenue with real-world solutions. Yeah, okay, we got that. With real-world solutions that are going to have to be addressed. And it is ultimately going to be a business deal. It's not going to have anything to do with the paranormal, because the people that are going to eventually adjudicate and judge this system could care less about it. And while it may be interesting, it's painful. And not that I have any particular allegiance there, that ship sailed for me a while ago. It's kind of painful to watch some of the stuff. Somebody needs to check on Liz Hurley, apparently. Check on her, make sure she's okay. But these are the type of things that if you didn't know better, you might think that somehow this is coordinated, almost, if that makes sense, for attention. Or there's, if you didn't know better and you didn't know the history of this, you'd almost think that this is contrived somehow. So I don't know. You leave all options open. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I think everything is speculation when it comes to this. No one is either physically there, or no one is in a position of education to make any kind of assessments. We all do anyway. It's human nature, no matter what the situation is. People will just make that clinical diagnosis and just take it from there. You can't take it all seriously until somebody does actually do a diagnosis, or somebody does come over professionally and do an audit or whatever that they decide to do to check on her. But it's very newsworthy for this field. I mean, name another place right now that's getting the spotlight as much as this place is, and has been for quite some time now, because of all the upside down, at least the last half a year, if not more, where it's just been going. So waiting to see, somebody drops the other shoe. Boy, I wish there was something dramatic happening at the Winchester house, just kind of, look in that direction kind of thing for a little while, just to break it up a little bit. But if anything, it's certainly entertaining reading, to say the least. But
well, it's you know, your definition of entertaining is, you know, but I understand what you said. It serves as good fodder for people who just but to be quite honest with you, and I think I mentioned this before, I'll read the first 5 comments and I'm pretty much covered on it, because then it's just the same thing in different words over and over. So, you know, everybody has, I think, the right take on it, but still, nonetheless, these things are often quiet. This one is a little bit different as it plays itself out publicly. And I am puzzled at this point why Facebook standards and practices hasn't shut some of this down. And it's probably a free speech thing, which I take very seriously, our right to free speech, but it's gotten into some areas that suggest violence and some other things like that. So I'm really surprised the platform is still there, but here we are. Thanks everybody for bearing with us. Sometimes these things happen. We have guests depending on their browsers, depending on the type of phone that they have. Sometimes these things kind of get stuck in neutral. So maybe we'll do a song off our latest album for you, or, you know, break into dance here. But you have an update on that, George?
I do not. The last was when I said, you don't have Google Chrome, she goes, yes, I can do that. I said, okay. Oh, I did get an update. No luck via Chrome. So
Right.
I don't know. If you want to talk a little bit, there was a big event going on this weekend, correct?
Yeah,
Upper
Michigan
Peninsula.
Con.
Yeah.
Michigan Con, and just sending another email. Bear with me, folks. You know how it is. Melissa Blackman, I think, is in chat tonight, and I think she attended that. Melissa, do you want to be our roving reporter on the scene, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Wherever you are, feel free.
I'm trying to see where did I put this? Hang on. Let me find something out here for a second. Where did this go? When I made this, yeah, it should be.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
it's so strange. It's so strange that we're not getting the connection that we would need from this. We're kind of stuck for the moment because we prepared all of our questions. Get in on last time. He's sending her message. I'm sending her messages. So we're going to get to it.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to do this one more time here.
You were sending her the studio link?
Yeah, once again.
Yeah. This should all be being done by Bill Forte, by the way, our producer. Bill should be doing all this behind the scenes, so we could just proceed on with our show. But you know, yeah, I don't remember whether or not she did it on the phone last time, Bill. Wish I could tell you that. No idea.
Say it now. I'm gonna pop on. It wasn't me. Was it me?
Bill.
You're popping on. Yeah, you don't have all of her contact information. So
when Ken, when is the big next investigation you guys are going to be going on?
Oh, the next big investigation. Well,
I'm coming. I want to go.
I'm going to try and call her.
The next one may not be up your alley because we have a private residence to do in Rhode Island next week that I was contacted about, and those are kept confidential.
Next weekend's out.
We may possibly have some things that we're trying to schedule in the Northeast that is up your alley. And at that point, we want to also get Joe Glover.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Now, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, let me take you through this.
Yeah,
So,
please do.
Bill,
This is interesting. First of all, before he goes into that, I was
yeah,
at a concert seeing the singer from, oh my God, what's the band now? Living Color.
Living Color.
And things happen. Now you can take it from there how everything fell.
Oh, well, Bill, there was somebody there. Now, the lead singer of Living Color is a guy named Corey Glover. He has a wife named Joe. Bill handed the phone to her, and we talked, and she expressed a deep interest in paranormal. And she had done a little bit of it before, but she was looking for a group that she felt was reputable, and that was a compliment to me. So we talked and exchanged emails, and I gave her the Rise Up Manual, which is about 170 pages long.
Are you serious? I didn't know that part.
Yeah, about how we go about it. So I sent it electronically. She said it was an easy read up until the last third. Then we started getting into some pretty long-haired stuff. But she is up and ready to go. So we're trying to schedule something for Joe. Just to give you an idea, and I didn't know this going in, Joe's dad is the late Sam Moore from the 60s, 50s and 60s, I guess, rhythm and blues group Sam and Dave, who did I'm a Soul Man and Hold On, I'm Coming. And I was blown away because huge fan. And then she told me who her husband was, lead singer of Living Color, of which I'm also a big fan. So we're trying to get something up in the Northeast and get Joe on board with that and reach out to you and see if we can't work it out. Might be in Massachusetts someplace, but, I'm looking forward to it because I think it will be a lot of fun.
She is an absolute sweetheart. And
She is.
Oh my gosh. And Corey, he told me, Bill, I had a UFO experience myself. Now,
Wow.
They've had experiences.
How about this? After Bill Bean, we have an open date. Maybe I'll reach out to Joe, see if her and Corey want to join us on a Sunday night. That would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome. Really, and like I said, she's really sweet and she's very intelligent. And I believe she told me she was part of a group in New York City, but they disbanded.
Yes. Yeah.
And she was looking for a reputable group. I said, I know someone.
She settled for us.
Here's the phone. That's as simple as that.
I have an update here from Melissa. Michigan Paracon was phenomenal. Yep. Lots of love and prayer sessions for Annie and Chris Fleming, and a hugely successful auction of items to raise money for Chris. Dave Schrader organized and ran it. Now, I suppose for those of you who weren't aware, our good friend Chris Fleming, who we've had on our show multiple times, also received some bad news in a cancer diagnosis. And he is really battling with something now. So, while we're sending our thoughts and our love and our prayers to Andrea, of course, who's also dealing with that, see if you can squeeze a little time in for Chris as well, because I think, I don't want to speak out of turn on this stuff, but I believe it's leukemia, definitely a blood disease. And so like Andrea, they have to take care of some other things right now. And this is not as important to do this type of stuff. What's most important is they do everything in their power with God's grace and the doctors that are going to be attending to them to be strong through this whole thing. So be strong for them. We appreciate it.
By the way, I took your advice. For those that may not, well, you guys definitely don't know. I asked Ken, what kind of equipment should I get? if I want to remember that conversation.
I do.
So wait a minute. Let me grab the box.
Okay.
Go through it. Here it is, right here. The pen. This is the basic stuff, folks. You know, just a startup. Let's call it a startup kit. Why don't we? So, because when I go with them, not only am I going to bring my camera and stuff, but I want to feel like I'm also contributing and a part to the team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure, of course. You're right. Right? You're packing. You're packing now.
Oh, so I know there's two, but this is what's the difference? This is the digital one. Is the other one with the flashing lights better than this one?
It's pretty much the same motherboard, just different packaging. That's the REM pod?
Yes.
Okay, so you got a digital readout, which that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I like it. Variation of the theme.
Okay.
You know, so there's your 21st century REM pod. Bill went full out on this. Go ahead. We're not done yet.
No, oh no, heck no. Now I
yeah.
have to talk to you. Are you kidding me? Give him a little background on that.
Okay, the Trifield Natural is one of the major tools that I use because oftentimes EMF meters have one sensor in a certain direction, single sensor. The Trifield is 3 in different directions, forward, back, up, down, left, right. And it's also great for measuring things like microwaves and natural earth magnetic fields as well as electromagnetic.
Oh.
So Bill being a UFO guy, if you ever go out and you're looking for trace evidence of something, it's an awfully great tool to use. So strongly suggest it. Now, mind you, I told Bill to go out and buy maybe like 3 things. The demonology starter kit with Annabelle. I said, just buy these 3 things, Bill. He said, well, yeah, what else? So I foolishly told him, continue, Bill.
All right. So of course we had to get the digital camera.
Of course.
Well, that's just a throw in.
Of course.
Hold on. We've got more. I think I don't even
Unboxing. Bill is unboxing tonight.
Oh wait, yes, exactly. Well, we're not.
Okay, we got a Mel. We got a Mel.
We got a Mel.
Which one did you have? You got shadow detection and everything on that?
I don't even know. I haven't even opened up the box, so we have.
There you go. Right, you know.
When
you got a Mel meter. It's got a couple of functions, you know.
Exactly.
Temperature.
This one. Oh, we'll wait for that one for last. I don't know where my little micro recorder is. It's probably in another box. But I got a mini recorder.
Mini recorder, yeah.
Then I got for sensor.
Bill, not interrupt the show and tell for a second, guys. I'm going to send you right now, Bill, Jeannie's number.
Oh, there it is.
And see if you can't walk her through. No matter whether it's her phone or her computer, both times when she tries to click on StreamYard, it tells her to open in Safari.
I'll help her out. But one more thing, I can't forget about this.
Right.
The FLIR.
He got the FLIR for the phone. Attaboy.
I'll take goodbye.
So Bill ended up with, just a normal suggestion. You don't need a lot, and ended up spending $58,000 on all that equipment.
Well, let me get the heck off and try to get the guest on. How's that?
For your call. Go ahead.
Because this is.
See ya.
All right. I'm running out of material here, so. If you're just joining us, our guest is scheduled to be JEANNIE LAGLE DOLLAR, parapsychologist. We're going to talk about the psychology of the paranormal tonight, just having some connection issues. Had she gotten a hold of us even earlier, we would have been there, because every once in a while, StreamYard doesn't play nice with other browsers and stuff like that. Oh my God.
I would imagine, again, there are people who are very tech savvy and they figure these things out right away. They do this all the time. And there are others who are, they're more academically inclined. They don't normally do a lot of podcasts. And, last time was just plain luck that we got her on so easily. But Bill's working in the background right now to try and help her figure out what's going on. And it's difficult because you're not visibly there. It could be something so simple. If Ken and I were there, go just click, click, click. Okay, now you're on there.
Have you tried rebooting?
Yeah. At the same time, and that's the other question too. How old is the computer part of it?
Well, the deal is tonight, folks, we appreciate you hanging in there with us because it's going to be worth it eventually. We've been dying to talk to Jeannie. And as George alluded to, in the second half of the show, we get something a little bit different where it's going to be a lot more interactive. We're coming up on 8:30, so we may just go there. As soon as she gets on, boom, let's just go there. But thanks for hanging in with us. And listen, if you've ever seen a podcast before, you know how this works. If you ever watched CNN, where they have a panel of 8 people, you know how it looks. Everybody's.
Yeah, I can say this: in 16 years of doing this, I can count on one hand in 16 years how many times we've had some sort of a connection issue like this. God, I want to go back to the Blog Talk radio days,
Right.
And phone calls dropping left and right, and chat freezing up. Moving forward, again, we've been very, very privileged both on StreamYard and YouTube to have such a fantastic platform. It allows us to, speak to so many of these wonderful people and be able to follow what you guys are talking about in the chat. And
Right.
it's just, every once in a blue moon, something like this will come up and happen. And just be kind in the chat about it, guys. That's all. We appreciate it.
Yeah, give us a good Yelp review anyway. One or the other. I mean, how often does this happen?
Yeah.
Really. And actually, it's not even we don't know if it's a connection issue. It is literally connecting.
It could be the spirits,
Yeah, we're gonna go with that.
It's interesting though. We've got a lot of wonderful people in this field, but not too many that go down the road of psychology, parapsychology, that have made this their lifelong career. The things that they've dealt with and experienced and tested on, and here again, I've got a ton of questions with regards to that. I have my own personal concerns with regards to the paranormal, as I'm sure Ken does, and then questions from you guys inside the chat. But we're trying to find a way to make more sense of it, more logical sense. One of the things I think we talk about a lot on the show is, moving forward, making a betterment of this field. What is it that we can do, whether it's in procedure, whether it's in the team cohesiveness, things of that sort. But this is an important part, I think, Ken, on both sides of the fence. Investigators going in, and the psychology of the investigator, and the psychology of the client. And I don't think enough people really pay attention to that, especially if they just want to go in there because they themselves are looking forward to having some sort of paranormal experience and not really focused on what the client is dealing with, something that you've got years of experience with, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I've said for the longest time, the most under-investigated or under-probed part of this field is the human condition. There's always another machine. There's always another gadget. There's always more technology pushing that forward. And that's fine. We appreciate that. Trial and error, try everything. But how our brains are wired and how we have these experiences is not something that the normal paranormal investigator can deal with. Okay, if you don't have that background in clinical psychology or parapsychology, whatever it is, we, by and large, don't have that. Okay, you can be as discerning and as skeptical about things, and you can debunk things and come up with alternate reasoning. But the human mind is something a little bit different. It's easy to look at something and say, well, that person's nuts, or, this is not credible. But that's more like a feel that you get. When we're talking about the human condition, and when we get into this, no one here is suggesting that if you've had an experience, it's just all in your head. Although if you go and look up psychology and the paranormal, that's all you'll see. You will see that all of this has a rational explanation. It's all about hypnagogia, sleep paralysis. It's all about delusions and hallucinations, and it's all explained, because science does that. So we in no way, shape, or form are saying people don't have legitimate experiences, but every experience does not necessarily tie into the afterlife. There are instances where our minds do play tricks on us, pareidolia being one. Okay, a lot of those things. And a lot of things fit into that category. Grief. Someone says that someone close to me passed and I saw them. Well, I'm not going to refute that. I mean, that's what they experienced, Now, whether that was grief or whatever it is in their own minds at that particular point in time is very personal. So I'm not so quick to assign a psychological or scientific value to everything. I can't, because I don't have explanations for a boatload of stuff that I've documented, recorded, or experienced myself. And believe me, I try. I try very hard to figure it out so I can get rid of the nonsense and get to the point. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing, is what we look for, correct me if I'm wrong, is redundancy. We're looking for things that we can not necessarily predict, but we can rely upon during an investigation that is going to happen over and over and over again. And generally, that's not the case. We don't see that as often as we would like. No matter what piece of equipment we're using, there's still an extreme randomness to it that's going on. And you wonder, a perfect example, Ken, let's take into consideration the flashlight session. Psychologically, it's interesting because you almost think that there's a psychic connection when you're asking that flashlight to turn back on. And what you're just basically waiting for is the connectors to cool back down. And as they do, and they contract, that's when the connection happens. When it warms up again, as it expands, the connection breaks away because you've unscrewed the cap of that flashlight. Well, in that time frame, your inner timer in your brain starts to time it right with those responses, and you've seen them on the television shows time and time again. Are you a man? Are you a woman? And you wait and you wait and you wait.
Right.
And then are you a girl? Are you a boy? Eventually, one of them is going to pop on there, and then you're going to start timing it. So just to confirm, you're a boy, right? And you're slowing it down. And you're trying to fit it all into this night's, and you're accepting into what literally is just some sort of an electrical connection.
Yeah.
But that's what we're all searching for. We're searching for a connection, but sometimes too desperately in the rounds in which we do this, whether it's the REM pods, the Ovilus as a perfect example also, because people will take one word and exploit the hell out of it. And, again, you never see on any of these shows, can you repeat the word? Redundancy. No one does that. So it's telling a story because these random words are coming up, but it's not giving you any type of confirmation by repeating the same thing over and over again. To me, that's the interesting part of the psychology behind this field. As an investigator, from a client's perspective, Ken, here is, again, it's your wheelhouse. Yes, I did residential cases. Yes, it scared the hell out of me. And yes, I stopped doing it. In a very, very quick span of time, within 2 years, I was done with it. Not going to happen anymore. So God bless you guys for doing it, continuing to do it. And I know you've had the positives and the negatives within this field, but finding a way to cope with that and not lose your mind yourselves, I give you a lot of praise, brother.
Well, I mean, first of all, you got to find out what state of mind that a client is in. And that has nothing to do with psychoanalysis. It really doesn't. I want to know what they feel is happening there, because I get a better idea of suggestion has played into this. Now, where that suggestion comes from, that's the next thing. Do you watch paranormal shows? Do you read books? Where have you picked up? What got you to the point, other than things floating around the room, obviously, where, you think, what do you think's going on? And once you establish that, then you can find out if they're guilty of what I call stacking, where something happens that's out of the ordinary. And then what happens after that is every little movement, sound, or visual stimuli in the house gets put in the paranormal stack.
Sure.
So you have to pick through that, whittle that stack down, throw things out to say, that's explainable, because anxiety can certainly take over. But there are a lot of other factors that go into it. Now, hopefully we get to talk a little bit, Jeannie, about tonight. Superstition, for example, the suggestion, it's such a powerful thing. There have been tests done where if someone was told they had to take a test of some type, but they were allowed, if you have a lucky charm or something like that, bring it to the test. And the results were that people actually did better on that test by having whatever their talisman or lucky charm was, because for some reason it instilled a certain confidence in them.
Right.
That sort of put that anxiety aside. They did another cute little experiment where they took people to a golf course, of all places, and told them that this is a lucky ball rather than a regular old golf ball. And their putting got better, So suggestion plays a large role in all of that. If you send somebody into what is known as a haunted location, the chances are very, very good that they are going to come out of there predisposed going in that this place is haunted, to maybe attribute something that's not there. Not to say it doesn't exist, not to say it can't happen, but sometimes you have to whittle through an awful lot of stuff to make a determination of whether the claims and your experiences are valid. And I'm not saying you're hoaxing or making it up. A lot of them are very innocently just misidentified, but
right.
Everyone has that expectation. So to me, that's also, George, part of the psychology of the paranormal is suggestion and expectation, because they can raise hell with our heads at any point.
Yeah. Well, to me, it jumps my memory and it jogs my memory towards, and I know I'm going to catch hell for this one. A lot of the times where people, and I brought this up, I think I brought this up with Bishop Long also, but people who bring in religious artifacts around their neck. And the question I've had before is it the religious artifacts that they're blessed that protect them, or is it their belief in those blessed artifacts that protect them, that they will, again, subconsciously emit a push away energy versus that receptive energy?
Mm-hmm. I'm nodding my head like a madman because my answer is yes.
Yeah.
And I will give you an example. There are sometimes we'll go into a house and do our thing. Maybe it's over the course of multiple investigations. And I will tell a couple, an individual, a family, whatever the case is in that particular place, don't allow yourself to be a victim. You need to empower yourself. You need to take back your space. There's 7 rooms in this house that you're afraid to go into. Well, hell, you're busting your ass to pay the mortgage on this place, and you won't go in the basement. You won't go in the laundry room. You won't go in the spare room. It doesn't make sense. So, and I'm not alone in this. A lot of people do this. You tell them, I want you to make an affirmation. Stand in the middle of the living room, claim your space back. Say it out loud. If you don't want to do it around me, because I'm not going to judge you, try to do it on your own. Like, look, you know, whatever the case may be, don't antagonize anything. You know, it's very rare to antagonize something. Usually these things can be reasoned with, but take that power. Now, does that work? Is the ghost on the other side saying, oh, I'm sorry, my bad, I didn't mean to interrupt? You know, they back out of the room. Or does that person, by affirming it out loud in a strong voice and strong language, does that help them psychologically to take back some power? Personally, I don't care which one it is.
Right.
If the result is the same and you feel better about yourself, hell, have at it. So it's not being phony or fraudulent or anything like, hey, well, get a load of this guy. No, I mean, it literally is standing up for that verbally and just taking that a little bit of your life back, you know. And does it always work? It works a great percentage of the time in my own experience. But I think it just helps people just have that affirmation and take that part of their lives back and feel better about it. Because a lot of times when people are not in control of a situation, if they don't feel they're in control of things, right? This is why people blame storms on demons, because you can't control the weather. Things that you can't control, we have a tendency to come up with a reason for it. And that's where conspiracy theories start. Whether they're religious, political, I don't care. The government's out to. This is where conspiracy theories start, because there is such a removal of power from the individual more and more and more and more that somebody has to be blamed for it. So conspiracy theories start, and they're born of that, just like paranormal things. When a paranormal value is assigned to something, and a lot of times it's just the only thing you got left, because you're just in a situation that, whatever the reason, you feel you can't control. So if you give people that ability to exercise some control, get it back, a lot of times that works. If it's all psychological, I say variation of the same thing. As long as they're better off for it, I don't care if the ghost is listening or, you know, they just have convinced themselves. Because they convinced themselves of the other thing. You got to turn it around now and convince yourself that you have power now.
No, it's the power of suggestion. I wonder as to whether or not these are the same people that, and you've seen it before and again, that there are hypnotists that can hypnotize certain people on stage and others that they cannot, if certain people are just susceptible to that suggestion. I'm wondering as to whether or not that tends to be going on. I mean, Ken, you may wear or you may not wear a crucifix around your neck, but do you wear anything for protection when you go into your cases?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I have a bracelet one of my grandchildren gave me with little plastic skulls on it, but I wear that just as more of a tribute than anything else. No, I really don't. The way I handle it is just get as much information as I possibly can. I just think knowledge is power. I want to know everything. No, some people don't want to know anything because it gives them a more organic experience. That's fine. Have at it. I respect it. To me, I want to know everything. I want to know who lived there. I want to know the history of the place. I want to know everything.
Right.
Because I find that I can go in much more confidently the more I know about who the players may be and why is this place the way it is. There's a certain comfortability in that for me. But, you know, that's kind of my thing.
Well, again, the only time I've ever been susceptible to our regular viewers and listeners and town hall members for what happened with Curse City in the Closet for me was an invitation. So that was the first time and the last time ever where I took that position, which opened up for attacks on me, where before I would never do that. I could walk into any of a number of reputedly haunted locations and never have any concern or occurrence of paranormal phenomena following me home. So I don't know whether or not psychology is a big part of that, for where the mindset is for both. You know, you get those paranormal investigators that say, I'm a ghost magnet. Or, you know, are you propagating that? Are you the one that's creating it because the way that you set up your energy? And that could be a very dangerous scenario as to people who just don't, you know. We talked about last Monday on Town Hall about reincarnation. And you mentioned one of the ones that everybody always talks about. And for myself, I was always told that I am a religious paladin, or I was in a prior life. So I used that psychologically. I used that when I would go in and do investigations. You know, I'm a paladin warrior for religion. And that, I think, is something that just empowered me. And I think that's what tends to happen with a lot of the others who, whether, again, it's a client or an investigator who don't feel empowered, they are in a situation that very vulnerable as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think that's why I go my route. You know, the more knowledge, the more understanding about where I am. Now, can I possibly control what happens when I go in that door? No, but I accept that. You can come up with the greatest plan in the world. I've said this before. Mike Tyson once said, you know, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right?
Right.
So,
we are planning right now, though, to go to break. I can't believe it just went that fast. But we're at the top of the hour here, guys. So we're still working on getting Jeannie Dollar to join us tonight, whatever the technical issues are. So stay with us. You're watching Dead or Live, Dead or Full Spectrum channel. We'll be right back.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
As UFO reports come in from around the world, the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, is there. We continue to explore new cases and build our massive database. We share our information with the world in a number of ways. If you would like to be part of our investigative team, you are always welcome. What could be more exciting than exploring the UFO question firsthand? Join MUFON, find your friends.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected. only at KGRADB.com.
That's right, guys. Take the time to become a member of our Patreon account. We got some phenomenal people already joining on board with us. So, we'd love to have you all. So thank you to all of our Patreon members who join us, including the town hall. Those that we can squeeze in first. If not, Ken always sets up the link for YouTube so you guys can still join us in chat. So $3 a month, guys. It's a great deal. And as of late, it's better than most of the streaming channels that are out there. It's the same stuff over and over again.
So we're told. For those of you who are Patreon members of other channels, very complimentary toward us. We appreciate it. So join us. Yeah, as you notice, Jeannie is still not here with us tonight.
Yeah, Bill's working behind the scenes hard. He's trying to get this all figured out. And
Bill's using a back door he's hacking into stuff right now.
Yeah, you wonder at that point whether or not it's Bill may have given a suggestion yet. Bill, I know you can hear me. You're in the background there, but the possibility of asking Jeannie if she has any nieces or nephews that are in their late teens, because they could probably build a computer to get her back on there too. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we're looking forward to getting her joining us here in just a little bit to be sure. And right. And as I said, guys, we're not absolutely positive. We're trying to flip-flop between the 1st of September or the 8th of September with regards to Bill Bean. You, of course, will know later on this week which time he'll be on. And we have a couple of others that we booked in also. I know we said Robert Dahl on the 22nd of September. Who else we got coming on, Ken?
Yeah, September 15th, Tony Rathman and Ron Iacovetti are going to be joining us to talk about their newest development with the Spirit Com. And if all goes well, we are going to get a live demonstration from them on that. And on the 29th, our local author here in Rhode Island, Thomas D'Agostino, who's written a multitude of books on different locations around and about New England and elsewhere, is going to be joining us. And then on October 6th, I believe, Kimber Eberly, who has written what I think is one of the definitive books on the Lizzie Borden story, is also going to be joining us. And she also has a deep background in true crime. So we may go in a number of directions with her as well as we start the spooky season. So all I'm looking forward to, every one of them, it's just kind of come together for us. But look at it this way, George. Whether we flip-flop on the 1st or the 8th with Bill, the week is now open for Jeannie to come in.
Yes. If push comes to shove, we can set that in motion. With a couple of tests prior, we'll definitely have to set that up too. Yeah, I think I really want to find a way to get through October without oversaturation of scary boo, that kind of a thing, because that's why we booked Bill early in September. Spooky season for us really kind of starts in September, and it leads, same thing as Halloween Horror Nights, same exact time frame. But we want to, we want to kind of taper it off because a couple different reasons. Number one, you guys are going to spend the better part of October, like most of us do, looking at whatever horror stories are out there on the different streaming services. We just tend to do that. whether it's our favorites or new ones that are out there. So you'll get enough of that, and we just don't want to cram it home by doing it a different way. So Bill jumped on there real quick. He said, I see her, but she's not totally in there yet, Bill. We should wait till we get her full picture here. Jeannie, can you hear us? Yeah, Bill, you want to work on that a little bit off screen?
Enable camera and microphone, and we have a show tonight. Hey, I'm going to take questions from chat. Is that okay?
And she's using her phone. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Ken, what's the difference between a tri-field natural versus other non-natural tri-field equipment? It's just a matter of functions, Sandy. The tri-field natural will give you, okay, AC current is man-made electricity. DC current is also the Earth's natural energy field. So you get to read those type of things too. So it's a subtle difference that'll cost you about $50 or $75 more money. But it's well worth it. It's well worth it. So spooky season. I know that in chat right now we are talking about a cat ball going off, and apparently someone's trying to remove a hornet's nest right now. Oh, I've got one eye over here. Yeah, so let us know if there's anything we can do to help.
I forgot to show you this, Ken. I picked this up earlier from Melissa's Facebook page, but take a look, see.
Yeah, from Michigan. Way to go. And Melissa's, I don't know who those two kids are, but that's Rochelle Stratton.
That's Rochelle Stratton, yeah.
And that has to be Brian Murray.
More than likely. The pair, they're always there together.
Completely trashed all of them.
And the entire cast of ghost hunters. It's a beautiful auditorium. I got a chance to go up there a while ago with Andrea, and we were on stage together, and you come from behind that curtain and just see that audience, and it's just an absolutely amazing location. It really is. And, I hear that this is the last year for them there. Is that right?
It's my understanding. I don't know if it's the last year for the conference itself. They may be looking at another venue.
Listen, there was alcohol for sure. I remember. Oh, I do remember. That place was a lot of fun. If they still had that social, I think, which is on a Friday night, and the bar is a little bit further back away from the hall, and that's where everybody wound up going to. Everybody wound up going to that place. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, if you guys have never, and I know many of you have before, but if you've never been to any of these paranormal conventions in the past, it is an experience. Number one, you get to really meet these wonderful people up close and personal. There are one or two that really, they're not that sociable. It's just not that they're rude or they're inconsiderate. It's just not a comfort zone for them. But certainly is something that you can get a chance to do and experience one time. Not to mention that, but the hunts are not just interesting to go to these historically haunted locations and do that, but the other part of it that's really amazing is getting a chance to interact one-on-one with a lot of these celebrities that have been on TV. They're very personable. They are done. We're hoping they miss us as much as if they will change their minds. You know what they're doing, Ken? They're just following your suit with Ocean State Paracon. They're just copying you.
Good luck with that one. Let's see if we got Jeannie. Nobody move. We got Jeannie.
And we got no sound.
Jeannie, if you can hear us, you need to enable a microphone or something, because we can see you, but we can't hear you.
Go to your settings. There should be a settings tab on there, that little cog. and then that settings should give you an option for microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it should be automatic on the phone, though, I would think.
Not necessarily, because once you go in there, oh, she muted on her end.
She did now,
Oh.
yeah. She didn't before.
Okay, she has to unmute her mic.
Yeah, if you see the microphone with the line through it, Jeannie, click on that or tap that, and that'll get you unmuted.
Yep. Nope.
No, it's still got the line through it. If it's got the line through it, you're still unmuted. There we go. Try now.
All right. How's that?
Hey.
Thank you. And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Jeannie, believe it, you know,
everybody else got everything out.
Jeannie, we wanted you on. We were not going to give up on you. We were not going to give up on you. We needed to have you with us tonight.
Well, aren't we all very patient?
Yeah,
it's our middle names. Dead Patience Air.
Thank you so much.
Jeannie, why don't we, because we can always get you back, but I know you talked to George about it today. George, if you want to kind of set this up, we can get right into it.
Okay. Thank you, Jeannie, again, for taking the time and joining us tonight. But we are going to conduct what was explained to me by Jeannie is something similar to a seance, but in communication with different volunteers that Ken emailed earlier today, members of our Patreon account. And the reason why we did that and not just wildly send it out there to anybody viewing tonight is because these folks are going to be serious and taken seriously for their experiences. But it's talking about some of the paranormal phenomena they've experienced and what Jeannie, as a parapsychologist, would do interacting with these individuals. So I certainly am looking forward to this, and we'll certainly keep out of the way and just let you do your thing, Jeannie. But are you ready to jump right into it? Oh, did we lose your voice again, Jeannie? Are you there?
Still there?
We lost audio again.
Lost her audio again. Yeah. Bum, bum, bum.
Maybe if you mute and unmute. Mute again and unmute, because that seemed to work last time. So hit the microphone once. Now hit the microphone again. Try now.
Okay.
Talking.
Now, how does that happen? Good Lord.
I don't know. I don't know. Wow. Trying to figure out why this is going on this way. Yeah, no audio whatsoever. Can't understand why. You looking at her settings, Ken? Man, now you're on mute again.
It's all on her end. I can't unmute her. Okay, try now, Jeannie. You hear us? I'm just wondering. Maybe would Bill suggest raise the volume on your phone? Oh, and she's gone.
Yeah, jump back off of there.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is frustrating, guys. I'm so sorry.
All right, let's give it a go again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mercury retrograde. It's something, Michelle. No, still can't hear you, Jeannie. I do not know why. Especially since we just had you on. It's like, is your volume down? Put your volume all the way up.
That shouldn't be a factor either. That would just be regards to her hearing us.
Yeah, no, she can hear us fine, I guess. But why cannot we hear her all of a sudden? Is the microphone enabled? Well, it was before. If nothing got touched, then I don't understand it. Bizarre.
Very much so. Oh. Jeannie, if you want to try getting out and getting back in one more time, we'll give you one more try, darling. And then if not, we'll have to reschedule because we're losing all this precious time with you, love. So try and bring her back in again. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she's still in. Let me get her all the way out, and that might be the. No. I can't even get her out of there.
No, I know.
That is so bizarre.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, who knows?
Yeah.
At this point.
And I doubt it in the sense, Michelle, we heard her for a few seconds and then it went off again. So she's tapping a lot. Who knows?
Yeah, we do have Jeff Hilton backstage. Jeff, you just want to hang in there, give us a bit to work this out. We don't know if we'll get to everybody tonight. Okay.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Don't move. Don't move, whatever you do.
All right. Try it again, Jeannie. Just say something to us.
Yeah, don't tap anything else. You're perfect.
Don't tap anything else?
You just tapped something. Unmute. You got the mic with the line through it again. Tap that microphone.
Okay.
All right, now to speak. You were good till you started touching stuff. now you're muted again. Not yourself, but we can't hear you.
We could hear you.
No, we can't hear her at all.
No.
What's this Android said? She probably set the computer to open StreamYard and Safari by default. She needs to clean her app defaults.
Oh, God.
Not tonight, but we'll work on that to say the least. Now, isn't that weird? When she's muting, okay, then it goes silent. When she's unmuting, then I hear like this buzzing kind of sound. Now, that was weird. A cowboy just came up.
Yeah, no.
Jeannie, nothing again. One more time. Go ahead and completely exit out. Let me take you out, and then you come back in. Let me do that.
Let's try it one more time.
I can't take her out. This is so weird. Something's really not set up right here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead and hit the little red X on the bottom, exit out, love, and then come back again. This is live, ladies and gentlemen, not a pre-record. Yeah, Jeannie, go ahead and leave StreamYard, Jeannie. Leave us at a StreamYard. Click on the link and come all the way back again. Go ahead and click on it. Click the red X and exit StreamYard.
Bill says, leave and come back and don't touch anything. All right.
And look, no, you're not pressing leave. And Bill, can you eject her? Because I can't.
No. Somebody needs to. You need to call her again. Oh well. Yeah. No. I mean, we all hate it, but we all hate it to death. But we've all been there, Yeah. We've all been there.
Not to this extreme, not to such a, this Safari thing, but I think Android was explaining it just right. If Safari comes up popping up, he didn't even know. We weren't even bringing that up. So he must have dealt with that same situation in the past. Yeah. And, now we're dealing with that with her, which is still something that I don't understand, again, because when we had her on last time, she's back. Let's see.
All right, well, let's go.
Yeah, don't touch anything. Don't.
All right, say something to us, Jeannie.
Go ahead and talk, Jeannie.
Probably got a little delay. This actually, in its own right, You got to be honest. This is actually entertaining. In some frustrating, weird way, this is like, oh, you think it's easy. You guys think it's easy. Oh, host a show, they said. It'll be fun, they said. What could possibly go wrong, they said. Let's leave it to Bill. Bill is...
I'm freaking out of my head. I'm freaking out completely because I just called her again. I said, "Don't touch anything. Just don't do any of that." And then George is doing it, and I'm dying over here because George says, "Don't touch anything." Because when she starts touching it, that's when something happens. But she seems like she works when she first comes in. So hopefully, one more shot. Let's see what happens. And what's up, Jeff, in the background? I see you.
See that index finger one more time, Bill.
Jeff is dying in the background. You got to see him. I can't even. Oh, my gosh. But, I mean, hopefully, we still have 40 minutes.
I may start drinking tonight.
Here we go. Don't touch anything.
Me or her?
Don't touch anything. Don't touch your screen. Can you hear them? Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody, stay where you are. All right. Before this goes bad, Jeannie, if you can hear, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a gentleman. We're going to bring in a gentleman from West Virginia. His name is Jeff Hilton, and he would like to talk to you tonight. So we're going to leave you two both to it. How's that sound?
Okay. All right.
Okay, here we go. Jeff, you go right ahead, sir.
Jeff, you're on mute, buddy. You're on mute. Go now.
Sorry about that.
This is a comedy of errors. Go ahead.
There you go. Hi, Jeannie.
There's somebody very go ahead. I was going to suggest that whatever is going on, somebody somewhere has a sense of humor and not a very impish one.
Yeah, exactly. Gremlins. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hi, Jeannie. I had a situation happen a couple of years ago.
Hi.
That it was really difficult to handle at the time. Ever since I was a kid, I've been able to, I guess, sort of travel in my mind, floating, seeing different things, never people, but seeing different locations, being able to read the signs for the locations, things like that. Nothing really bad ever happened. I had instances since then, but a couple of years ago, during when I was doing that, I actually was what I considered attacked because I was grabbed and literally ripped to a new location, and I was faced with a dark shadow entity that led me into a very small hallway kind of place where on the left hand side was stacks of books. There was one window on that side that looked outwards. On the right hand side was desks and chairs and just really old furniture and just haphazard stuff stacked everywhere. When I approached the entity, a particular book would start glowing, and it directed me to read the book. And when I did, it was an absolute nightmare of the death of another person. Not only was I seeing it as if I was the person that was there, I was literally feeling everything that they were feeling. The very first one was of a gentleman that had been shot with an arrow in the shoulder, and he was being chased, and it was the mountains. And as he, or I would say I, but it was in my view, was going around a rock. A rock slid downhill and it trapped me underneath of it. And the gentleman, literally, the people that were chasing me was actually more than one, came up and took my belongings and left me under there to die. Literally being crushed by a rock with an arrow in it. That was the very first one that was done to me. For a period of literally months, almost on a nightly basis. Sometimes I'd get a little bit of a break, but I would get it to be forced to go into this same routine of going and start floating through this lunch area, and again getting ripped out and being forced to read another book. And one of the other stories that I had to read was of a gentleman that was stripped naked and wrapped around a tree, basically. And the group of people that were there were laughing and mocking and were taking a knife to me. And the last person who finally, I guess, decided to kill me opened me up, had my entrails fall out while everyone was laughing. Like I said, that went on for months, and my health was declining pretty rapidly towards the end of it. And my saving grace, I talked to some friends and relatives that helped guide me to try to armor myself, to use different talismans basically, and none of them really worked, unfortunately. Whatever this thing was, it had me big time. The last one that happened, I had asked the person what their name was. I had asked what, excuse me for a second, dogs are going here. I had asked what the entity's name was, and I didn't get any answer on that. And as it directed me to read the book yet again, another entity came to me, and this one was white. The person, it was a female that I can still see very clearly, was armored. It moved as if it was underwater. The hair movement was just floaty. It wasn't natural. It apologized after telling the entity to leave. It apologized to me for what had happened, and it said that that was never meant to be. I have not had that dream since that time in the last few years. And I kind of miss the journey of the traveling, but at the same time, anytime anybody talks about, like cognitive, the group cognitive abilities where they go and explore sites and have guides, I try to take part in those, but I'm terrified of taking part in that. I love the paranormal field. I'm willing to explore the paranormal field, but I never want to run against what I ran against. And I would like your take as to what happened to me, and if there's anything further that I need to be doing, because my health is not good. After it ended, I had to go and take a stress test because my health declined. I had a heart attack during the stress test. They put in 2 stents because my widowmaker was 99% blocked. And they said I have multiple other blockages throughout my body. And I'm not sure what kind of stress my body can take. Yeah, I'm very limited and trying to hold myself back. I would very much like your take as to what I can do in the future to protect myself. I don't know what else to say.
I just have
Go ahead.
I have a question that just kind of will help me with this the onset of this the events that you've just described to me. Before, did you say that you already are or have had experiences your whole life in which you would consider yourself being sensitive to the paranormal?
I grew up in the paranormal. The town that I came from was a very old coal mining town that had shut down. The entire place was active, and you could hear voices, see shadows. I mean, I grew up in it. It never has never
Okay.
bothered me. Like,
This is what I feel and sense. You were given very good advice to armor yourself because of your background and just your own openness. Um, you never some there has been a guest that was not very nice, let's just say. And it may be that this may be the first time that you've had such a hostile visit and experience. Because my feeling about you is that you have never learned to protect yourself because you grew up with it. And I'm familiar with that because so did I. And I had to learn to protect myself when I began to work doing more mediumship work and being open so much of the time working with other people and being open to their um the forces that they were attracting, trying to help them with to resolve, just like now with you. um your sensitivity did, you're still what I would consider very strong spiritually, and that you were able to manifest the way you needed to, what you needed to do to protect yourself. And I want to see you right now as if you are wearing a full coat of armor, just like you are Prince, you know, Valiant or someone, just a full coat of armor. But that armor is luminous, and it is ethereal, and it is impenetrable. Um, so you need to what I would recommend and what I suggest for you is that if unless you want to shut down altogether being sensitive, which it doesn't sound like you really want to do that, but you just don't want this to happen again. And no, of course not. And just like in life, also there are mean forces, there are evil forces, there are. And when you've been around loving, nurturing, open, spiritually open people, and you you will still be open to not so nice as you've experienced. Now, I think you appear to me, and from the way you're describing, that you have a talent, or part of your nature is to be able to astrally project. And what you described to me sounded very much like an astral projection in which you went to another location in through an astral plane. And you observed another this force drew you to this horrific tragedy because that's their death, right? But you were feeling it because they want to give it to you. They don't want to suffer. They want you to take that suffering from them. And you can't do that. And so they're not going to leave you alone because you're ambivalent about it. And I think your ambivalence has to do with that you're afraid to protect yourself because you don't want to lose your sensitivity. But let me just say, you will not lose your sensitivity, and you will be able to manage when these forces come that rip you or attacking you and assaulting you. You will be able to defend yourself. I don't know where all that just came from, but does it make any sense for you?
It makes a great deal of sense to me.
Yeah, let me ask a
I
question about this then also, Jeannie, with regards to what Jeff's experiencing, because there's two thought pathways with regards to this. Number one, as I'm sure you're very well aware of, and we've talked about it even on the show, where people will go into investigations at haunted locations and they'll suddenly feel as if they're getting a headache or a stomach ache. And a lot of the times it's just pure raw emotion that they're getting, or the feeling of sadness or dread or fear that they can't explain why they're getting that sensation. And that's just that third eye opened up and that spirit's rawest form of communication with that living individual. However, in Jeff's case, when it is subconscious, there are practices you're saying that he can follow that'll help him strengthen that ability, even in a subconscious state, because even I've fallen prey to that.
You have to develop a consciousness of your luminous protection, and the way you do that is most people have some way that they connect with the spiritual world. If it's through prayer or meditation or other ways of connecting, different people can connect different ways. Sometimes it can be just direct, like you are describing, where one already understands that they are sensitive and you don't have to go through an institution or some sort of belief system to be able to connect. But we all have to, regardless of how we connect, we have to protect ourselves. And if you don't already, you're not going like through a religious belief system, so you don't apparently, you obviously don't have well developed, like archetypes for protection, like you would if you were a religious person, right? So you have to develop that for yourself. And that you described to me that you're the manifestation that came to you that um, implored you to protect yourself was real, and that was exactly what you need to do. Now let's take that visitor and that image that you already have from that visitor, and what I would recommend is that you sit with that image and open to that and say, I want you around me. I want your protection because you described um, this experience as feeling like it was protective, right? And that it was loving and kind. And it was there to tell you about protection. Is that right?
The people who help me with the protection are friends and family that are they're very spiritual. Um, they were trying to guide me on how to ground myself better, which I thought I was already always pretty grounded. Evidently, I wasn't. They were giving me different talismans to wear when I was sleeping and things of that nature. The other entity, the one who ended it, I it's hard to explain her, but she seemed to be so dismissive. Like she was on a level that really didn't care. It was almost, and I don't know how to explain that. It's like I really didn't matter. There was just something that was going on that wasn't supposed to be happening, so she ended it. Um,
Like it was a mistake?
I don't know how to. It was a mistake. That's how it was put. This was a mistake. This was never meant for you. And I got the apology. But
Okay.
as far as caring for me, as far as that entity caring for me, I never got that feeling at all from that entity. It was just, okay, I'm sorry this
Okay.
happened,
So
move on.
it was more like a messenger.
Right.
It was more like a harmless messenger.
Right. Looking back
Well,
on it, I think she's more, there was something wrong going on. She stepped in and I was a total stranger to her and she put an end to it. And that's as far as it went, emotion wise.
I do believe that you need to have a conscious um connection that has to do with protecting your luminosity, which to me is how I describe sensitivity. People who are sensitive, you have you're a luminous being, and that attracts other all kind everything. And so I want what I would recommend for you is to if you meditate, if you pray, whatever form you use to make your spiritual connections with, I would ask to have that you need to see the form of protection that you can call upon when you need it. And you need to stay in that state, that meditative state. And this is just you. Nobody else is telling you anything. It's going to come from you. And you're going to appeal to the um, the protective, the luminous protective being, agent, force, whatever language comes to you. I can't really tell you what it's going to look like or sound like or say, but all I can say is to to appeal and to draw to you the protection that you need, that you want, and in the form and in the emotional experience that you are needing to make this a complete sense of protection. And what I mean by that is not just an image, but also an the emotional experience that goes with when you are feeling completely surrounded and protected and and loved and at peace. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Now you have someone or some form, some manifestation out there that is that for you, but you haven't consciously developed that relationship. And I think it's time because you're too sensitive. You're gonna get more assaults if you don't.
So
Yeah.
get to work, Jeff. And we want you to report back to town hall tomorrow night that you've completed this journey. Don't know, it should only take a couple hours, right?
Yeah,
So,
it does. Yeah.
Jeff, thanks for
Right.
joining us, buddy. We're going to get one more in here for us, Jeannie, and then we may run a little bit over time on KGRA. I'll make that announcement if that happens. But let's see what we've got here with our good friend Sandy. Sandy, welcome to the show, and say
Hi.
hello to Jeannie. And
Hi, Jeannie.
what was your question tonight?
Hi, Sandy.
So, hi. So, I never had any paranormal experiences until this one thing happened. And then since then, like things happen. And it was a very dear friend of mine. I worked with him. He was like a dad to me. He moved out to Colorado, ended up hooking up with his high school sweetheart, found out he had pancreatic cancer. Told me he was very sick and he wouldn't be able to come out and see me again. And he was going to let his wife know when something happened. She was going to let me know because he really was not functioning well. So the way I found out he had passed away is I had sent him pictures of my girls and I got them back from her saying that I wish Jack had been able to see them. And that's how I found out he passed away. So about a month later, I was in bed just getting ready to fall asleep, but I know I wasn't asleep yet. And I saw him clear as day, just as I remembered him. And he said, I was going through some things, and he told me that you're going to be okay, and I'm okay. And then about a week later, I'd never met his wife. I'd never seen their place, never saw pictures of their place. I had a dream I met her, and we were walking down this little path, and there was her little A-frame cottage and all the flowers and everything. And I talked to her about a week after that. And I'm like, oh, did I tell you about the dream I had? And she said, no. And I told her I had a dream I got to meet you because I was supposed to meet her when he had come out and I didn't have that chance. And I said, oh, we walked down this path and I described it. And she's like, not saying anything. And I'm like, what's the matter? She's like, you just exactly explained my house and my yard. And I had never seen it before. So since then, we've had things happen. But that was my first thing. And I thought it was just a dream at first. And everybody's saying no.
So what has happened since then?
Well, my daughter is now seeing, hearing spirits. When I least expect it, I can smell cigarette smoke, and he used to be a smoker. I've had another thing happen where I was at work and I closed in the afternoon. I get tired, so I closed my eyes for 5 minutes. I saw my mother's uncle. He was forced to live in his brother's basement, dark, dingy. He had passed years and years and years ago. I saw him clear as could be. I could smell the smell. And then I saw me sitting at my desk, and then I felt like the suction, and like I popped up. And then I found out it was either the day before or that day his brother had passed away. So just like weird things like that, but nothing had ever happened to me. I'd never had any experiences until that first time. So I don't know if it was a dream or if it was not a dream.
No, you had a well, if usually, even though you've never had it, one might never have had any paranormal experiences before in their life, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen when there's someone that's close to you that dies. Okay, and they're out of their body. They're now in spiritual form, and you. I don't know why you opened your heart so much to him, but you did.
Yeah.
And when you did, you invited him into your family. Because now, not just you, but your daughter is
He made it to
enjoying his
every one of my
company.
girls' birthday parties. Always came to him.
Well, he still likes to be around you guys.
Yep. And now my daughter,
And
my other family members could never smell it. And now my daughter, who can see and hear, she can smell it now.
well, is it okay? Is everybody okay with it?
Yeah, we are. Actually, we're good, and we totally support her. George has been wonderful with her. And we've had an amazing network of people that we met through this group, helping her and helping her figure it out.
She scares me.
Yeah.
The connection about the yard and all that is, that's clairvoyance, and you, through your heart connection, saw through his eyes. And he, for all you know, he may have wanted so much in his heart to see you and your girls, that and with between the two of all of you, well, you just stayed connected.
Yeah.
If you're
It's a
and if you're
wonderful
good
thing.
with that, then I say thank you. Yeah, lucky you.
Mhm. Yep. And I'll
Yeah.
always say, if I haven't smelled that cigarette smoke, I'm like, Jack, I haven't heard from you. Are you okay? And within a week, I smell the cigarette smoke.
It's amazing. It actually count that as
That's
a
happened to me
blessing.
before too.
Yeah.
That's
And
happened to me
Incredible.
before too. It happened with my father's death with me. And as much as I was close to him and took care of him in his last year with cancer too, I just was shocked. I mean, it was startling for me,
yeah.
the first encounter with
Mhm.
him.
We got to
Did it
just
startle
real quick.
you?
I don't mean to interrupt here for a second, but we have to say goodbye to Bill and KGRA. We could continue on with you guys until you finish this session. But thank you guys at KGRA for listening. You want to continue on with us, just come on over to YouTube at Dead Air Nation. We'll see you then. Otherwise, we'll see you next weekend. Thank you, Bill, again. I'm sorry, Jeannie. Continue with Sandy.
That's okay. I was just wondering if you were startled at first
Yeah.
by your
Well,
experiences.
yeah, it sat me right up, and I wasn't sure what to experience. It the whole seeing my mother's uncle, that scared me. That one scared me because when I saw me sitting at the desk, and then I felt that suction back in or whatever, I don't even know how to explain it. That one scared me.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I loved. That one scared me, and I didn't get along with my father. And I had a dream that he was in a car accident, didn't know what happened to him, didn't know where he was. Told my mother, she's like, well, that's weird. A week later, he got into a car accident. We didn't know where he was or what happened to him. That scares me because that's happened a couple
Well,
times.
you have clairvoyance when it comes to people that you love.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. It does make you really vulnerable at the heart for the ones that you love. And as long as you're good with them being continuing to be a part of your life, and there being a positive effect in your life and your family's life, then it's a blessing, obviously.
Yeah.
So But in the case of, say, if your father had not been such a positive influence in your life, and that was something that's persisted, then this is just as, I don't know this, I'm just saying as an example, then you would want to try to come to to some resolution and some relief. But in your case, it doesn't sound like you're actually looking for relief as much as you are just
An
affirmation
understanding. Yeah.
that what you're
Yeah,
experiencing is real,
yeah,
and how it can be real.
right. Because, like, we've
But
always
there's so
been
much we don't
interested.
know about the astral plane.
Yeah, I'd always been interested in it, but when it actually happens to you, it puts a whole different spin on things.
Hmm.
Well,
See,
Sandy,
what I hoped would happen tonight, if nothing else, is that people will share their experiences, feel safe doing it. I'm and nobody. There's no. It's not pathological for sure. It's a part of being human. It's just an aspect of our being, whatever we are. I'm not even gonna say human because I don't know about all the other species. But for sure, I
no.
know this is an aspect of being human, and usually people, because we don't talk about it much in our culture, or we talk about it in such ignorant ways, like witchery and possession, and just it's all negative, and it's all it's all just Hollywood mumbo jumbo, really. But the real experience is a very personal and subtle experience, like what you're describing. And if people would understand that there's nothing to be afraid of, unless it's something that you feel is a threat, and it is, and you can deal with that just like you do with people in your life that are threats. That's, to me, what I would like to be able to bring to you, to the world, to people in general that are having paranormal experiences, that they are real, and they're just natural experiences that go along with our whole reality of being alive.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're not trying to run away from it.
No, because it's been all good. So as long as it stays that way, we're good.
Yeah. I think right now what you're dealing with is a far better scenario than others that are out there. So that's where you would only say, I count my blessings. Um, and that connection that is, for lack of a better term, it's spiritual. And you have that opportunity and that gift. Um, take it as a gift. Don't take it as a curse or anything like that. But Sandy, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. We will see you, same as Jeff Hilton, tomorrow night in Town Hall. Appreciate you joining us tonight, love. Thank you so much for that time.
Thank you, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
All right. Ken, you want to pop back in? We're going to close on now for tonight. And I think, Jeannie, what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of dress rehearsals, get you back here, making sure that everything is working right. We had, I know both Ken and I ourselves had a pile of questions and things that we wanted to address and talk with you about. So that's that open invitation. We'll get you back on here with us soon. Would that be okay?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent.
Seems like just doing the um, StreamYard.com was the best way to get there, to get to the studio. So
Yeah. Well, there's a
we'll
couple of
keep working
people.
on it for sure.
Yeah. There's a couple of people that were giving some suggestions about how to re-navigate through to get you on it as well as we did the first time you were on with us with Tina Boyer. So we will work on that, maybe a couple of dress rehearsals and maybe even have you join us sometime in a future town hall on a Monday night if your schedule permits and allows. And this way we have a bunch of people on screen together and we could just have some fun chit-chatting. What does that sound?
Sounds
All
good.
righty.
And thanks everyone for all the wonderful comments.
Thank you so much, Jeannie.
Absolutely. Jeannie, it was so nice to host you again. And we seriously want to do it again real soon because, as George said, we were going to try to cover as much with you tonight as we possibly could. But hey, it gives us an excuse to ask you back now.
Well, I think we got off to a good start with the two cases. I think they were both, I think we had good connections in both those cases.
Yeah. Well, understand this before we sign off. George and I, because a lot of people, God bless them, share with us. And we try to give an informed opinion from our perspective. So that's what's wonderful about having you on, because you can take that to another level. And we've always said, people that are watching, you're not alone. There are people who've gone through this before. So, it's a pleasure to have you as that third voice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, because he put you in through admin, again, you have to end from your side. Otherwise, you will be sitting here in purgatory for the next 6 months. So make sure you log off from that side, Jeannie. But God bless you. Thank you so much. And I'll get in touch with you
All
very,
right,
very
thank
shortly.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right. Depending upon how everything goes for next week on schedule or the week after with Bill Bean. Right now, Bill Bean's scheduled for next week, but that is Labor Day weekend. So we may be moving that to the 8th. So we'll have to take a look at that and see. So, but yeah, we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Our Patreon members, we'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock at Town Hall. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Hit that thumbs up before you head on out. And you've been watching Dead or Alive on our Full Spectrum channel. Have a great night. Take care.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's